Too much muscle can potentially hurt walking mechanics, particularly if it leads to muscle imbalance or restricts joint movement. And it looked like Michael Jordan trainer has shared his thoughts about Caitlin Clark injury and how he was able to transform MJ.
Is Caitlin Clark's pursuit of greatness pushing her body too far? Her rapid muscle gain was meant to elevate her game, but could it be setting her up for injury instead? And why are NBA icons more concerned about her situation than her own league? Let's uncover what the WNBA isn't telling us about their biggest star. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 83% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Caitlin Clark has always been a player who thrived on precision. Her finesse on the court, those no-look passes, the ability to navigate tight defensive gaps, her pinpoint shooting, put her on a path few athletes ever tread. But now, something feels off. Over the past year, Clark has reportedly undergone significant muscle training, bulking up to handle the physicality of elite competition.
And one other person about this Caitlin Clark adding this muscle to her body very quickly.
The goal was obvious: elevate her game, transform her body into something nearly untouchable. But what if the changes are backfiring? Here's the thing. Clark's style has never been about raw power. She's not bulldozing into the paint, she's skating around defenders, using her speed, angles, and vision to dissect every defense she faces. Now, imagine adding a bigger, stronger frame to that play style. It sounds unstoppable, but some trainers warn it might actually disrupt her rhythm, especially when those changes happen too fast.
Remember when these pictures dropped, we seen Caitlin Clark yelling and she was ripped. Everybody thought it was just going to be kumbaya.
Think about it. The very strength that's supposed to protect her could be slowing down her natural movements, leaving her more vulnerable to the kind of soft tissue and groin injuries that have reportedly been popping up.
Speculating about her going to see other doctors, claiming that, the injury could be worse than what it is, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
This isn't just speculation. Tim Grover, yes, the same Tim Grover who was Michael Jordan's personal trainer, has spoken about this exact balance. He's always emphasized the importance of not just building strength, but doing it in a way that complements, rather than compromises, an athlete's agility.
Too much muscle can potentially hurt walking mechanics, particularly if it leads to muscle imbalance or restricts joint movement.
Jordan himself underwent years of gradual changes to his body, tailoring each new adjustment to how he played on the court. Now compare that process to what we know about Clark. Did her own team push too hard, too fast in their pursuit of creating a stronger, more dominant player? The concern gets murkier when you factor in how little the WNBA and her team have shared publicly. Official injury updates have been vague at best, fueling speculation among fans and experts. Could the league be downplaying the severity of what's happening to its brightest star? And what does that mean for Clark, who is suddenly facing questions not about her skill, but about her body? Questions she might not even have answers to herself. Caitlin Clark's health has sparked debates across basketball circles, but here's a wild twist. Some of the loudest voices of concern aren't coming from her own league. The WNBA has stayed practically silent on what's really happening, leaving fans guessing. Meanwhile, NBA legends and their trainers seem to be stepping into the vacuum, openly discussing how injuries like hers need to be handled. Let's be clear. When Michael Jordan's trainer cares enough to speak on a WNBA star, You know this isn't just idle gossip. It begs the question, why isn't the league stepping up to lead the conversation?
Exact same injuries Caitlin Clark is getting. Groin injuries, except for the ankles, but definitely groin pull.
Think about how Clark is positioned in the WNBA. It doesn't get bigger than her. She's not just their rising star, she's their cultural icon, the kind of player whose reach stretches far beyond the sport. Yet, with reports of groin injuries and muscle strain swirling, all fans are getting vague updates. Imagine how much bigger the trust gap becomes when the brightest name in the league is a giant question mark. When Tim Grover worked with Jordan, he wasn't just building a body, he was safeguarding a legacy. Both the NBA and Jordan's team invested heavily in his long-term health because they understood what he meant for their product. Where is that kind of urgency for Clark from the WNBA?
And it looked like Michael Jordan trainer has shared his thoughts about Caitlin Clark injury and how he was able to transform MJ.
To make things even more confusing, Clark's injury history is eerily reminiscent of what we've seen sink generational talents in the past. Athletes pushed to their limits, only to burn out too fast. Take Len Bias or even early career Derrick Rose. Leagues lose more than box office draw. They lose direction. The NBA learned from those moments, pouring resources into preventative measures, making sure stars were protected, not just used. So, when NBA trainers hint that Clark's new muscle mass may be putting her mechanics at risk, it's hard to see why her own league isn't keeping the public informed.
I think Caitlin Clark adding a lot of muscle so quick may have impacting her mechanics, thus leading to so many soft tissue injuries.
This gap in communication isn't just frustrating fans, it's creating speculation. Conspiracy theories about Clark's condition are swirling, and every day without clarity chips away at the WNBA's credibility. How long before that chips away at Clark too?
See, Caitlin is more susceptible to actually getting injuries by adding all that muscle, bro.
Caitlin Clark's future is hanging on a razor's edge, and how it's handled could ripple far beyond her career. The WNBA has a responsibility to protect its brightest star, not just for today's highlights, but for the long-term health of both Clark and the league.
Putting on muscle, and he compared everything to Michael Jordan, how he was able to help him overcome his injuries.
Transparent updates, a focus on preventative care, and unwavering support aren't just options. They're necessities. Fans have the right to answers. But more importantly, Clark deserves to compete at her best without risking it all. Will the league step up and secure her legacy, or will it leave a trail of mismanaged potential in her wake?